Hello everyone, how are you? I am Makeda Valletta, also known as the Renaissance Amazon, and currently I am live on my IG page. I will save this video and repost it to my YouTube page. So if you are on IG and you don't follow me on YouTube, be sure to follow me at the Renaissance Amazon. And if you're on YouTube and you don't follow me on IG, be sure to follow me on IG at the_Renaissance_Amazon_81. I'll put the link below. So for those of you who are unfamiliar with me, I am a jack of all trades, many trades, not all, okay? Many dealing with the body, mental and physical health, sexuality. I have been a student, student and also involved in sacred sexual education my whole adult life. And was in high school, I did a lot of work with my peers in New York City around sexuality. And so I just wanted to give that background before I get into this conversation. I wanted to talk today about Lil Nas X's video that he did, the song Montero, everybody's so upset about. So a couple days ago, I saw, in my feed, a bunch of people, complaining about Lil Nas X and don't let your kids watch his video and da-da-da-da. And then I had heard that, he was giving a lap dance to the devil. Now, let me say one thing about me as well. I'm one of the few people who wasn't raised with religion, okay? And I think that it actually is a strong point. It's not something, I don't feel like I was missing anything because I wasn't raised in patriarchal religion. I have found so many people screwed up by being indoctrinated with the propaganda and the fear of God, okay, that patriarchal religion puts into you. It's a lot of propaganda. I am somebody who is about the truth. I'm a researcher, okay? I'm very much into very much into scientific research, okay? But also into anthropology and archaeology, okay? Anthropology and archaeology are also huge interest of mine, and history, okay? The truth. Now, the Bible is not a book that I respect. I'm sorry. It's not. People talk about the Bible as if it's an instruction manual that came with the earth, okay? And it's not. There were civilizations on this planet for hundreds of thousands of years before the Bible was ever thought of, okay? According to the Bible, to my knowledge, correct me if I'm wrong, but according to the Bible, humanity's only been around for like a couple thousand years. But if we look at anthropological research, archaeological research, we see that human beings, there have been civilizations on this planet for hundreds of thousands of years prior to the Bible ever being created, okay? People always say if it's written in stone, people use the term written in stone. And I feel like what has been written in stone by indigenous people all over the world needs to be paid attention to. People would not go out of their way to etch things in the walls of caves and create stone figurines if it wasn't important, okay? And especially amongst groups of people who have oral traditions like Africans and Native Americans. The colonizers who came with their patriarchal religion tried their very best to destroy all that stuff, destroy the truth, and, with all their evil ways, take away people's religions and their connection to their ancestral deities, okay? So the Bible is interpreted all these different ways by all these different people. People argue about it. Honestly, I'm not a biblical expert. I don't know what the New Testament, the Old Testament, I don't know nothing about none of that shit, okay? Because I wasn't raised with that, okay? I was raised in New York City around people who were all different kinds of religions. Damn, somebody's calling me. I need to turn. I thought I had put my phone on Do Not Disturb. I did put my phone on Do Not Disturb, but it's ringing on my laptop. So I apologize for that ringing in the background. Hopefully it'll stop. I don't want to get up to turn it off. And I don't edit videos, so. Okay, that's so annoying. Okay, it's over. Okay, so I grew up in New York City. I went to New York City public school with Jews, with Muslims, with Christians, and with atheists and people who were agnostic, whatever, okay? So with Buddhist, you know, Hindu, whatever. Okay, and I grew up in a school system where people didn't pray in the classroom. It wasn't until I went to college where, you know, I was dancing in a dance company on campus, a black dance company, and they always wanted to pray to Jesus every time, you know, we did a performance. And I found that offensive because I'm like, how do you know that I pray to Jesus? How do you know that I don't pray to Allah or Buddha or somebody else? Like, you can't assume that everybody praise to Jesus and start enforcing that on people. There's supposed to be a separation between church and state in this country, but there isn't. Everything, you know, that the morals of society is based off of Christian ideology. You know, anything that is not heterosexual and monogamous, you know, is a sin. And I've met so many people who grew up religious, whether it be Jehovah's Witness, Christian, Muslim, Jewish, who are traumatized by it, okay? And they grow up and they're trying to like unbrainwash their minds. And even still, a lot of times, you know, what they do is still dictated by this religious stuff that was put in their head growing up. So, you know, and it's funny because my dad, who's from St. Augustine, Florida, the oldest town in America, he always told me the reason why he rejected the church was because when he was a little boy, he said that the preacher would be in church talking about, you know, if you're having sexual thoughts, you're going to go to hell and you're going to burn in hell. And my dad told me that he had a crush on his school teacher, okay? And he was afraid to go to sleep because of the things that they were telling him at church. And he just said, fuck this shit, and rejected it all, right? And that's the story my dad always told me. My dad's an atheist. But when I was a kid, he always told me, look, believe what makes sense to you. You don't have to be an atheist because I'm an atheist. You know, believe whatever makes sense to you, but just question it and don't believe it because somebody tells you you have to believe it. So there was a time when I was a little girl where I went to church on my own with, my mom had a hairdresser who was from Belize. I went to church with her family because I was curious. And I remember nothing made any sense to me. I remember every time I asked people questions, I had a god sister who I think she taught Bible study or something. Every time I would ask people questions, they never gave me any answer that made sense. And ever since I was a kid, I was always a critical thinker. It was reinforced by my dad, and it was reinforced by my schooling, okay? Because the schools that I went to, like my high school in New York City, did not believe in history textbooks, okay? Instead, they gave us primary documents and artifacts. And they told us every day, use your critical thinking skills and think like a historian. And I didn't understand back then why every day they were telling us to use our critical thinking skills until I grew up and realized that 95% of people on this planet don't have them, okay? And I feel like religion, patriarchal religion being Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, are the problems with the planet, okay? Like, it's in all of them condemn women. They put women, you know, you got Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost, okay? What about the mother, okay? The one who births us all. You know, these religions that say that women can't be religious leaders. We can give birth, okay? But we can't be a religious leader? Tell me how that makes sense. There's nothing more spiritual than bringing life into this planet and having life come through you and giving birth, okay? So I'm suspect of anybody who's saying that women can't do this and women can't do that. And my own dad, you know, would reinforce those things in me. Like, don't let a man tell you you can't do something because you're a woman. It's very powerful to have that from my own father, okay? So now with that being said, I'm going to say that you know, the whole conflict about Lil Nas X, I didn't really care, but I kept seeing it. Then I saw that I knew the person who choreographed this video, okay? A woman named Kelly Yvonne, a black woman from in LA. She owns a pole studio in LA. She's choreographed for other artists as well. I've studied with her before. You know, she's an amazing woman with great energy, Kelly Yvonne. She's the one that choreographed this. So when I saw this and I saw other people, I saw a lot of negative posts, but I did see other people who wrote things like, who wrote a different perspective about the video, who they were saying, you know, well, the video is just saying that if you can't be someplace that's accepted, you know, like if I, you know, can't be in a world that I'm accepted, then I'll dance with the devil type situation, you know? And it's like, we've all heard jokes. I mean, I know I've heard people joke in my life where they're like, oh, if it's a sin to party, then I'm going to hell and I'll be dancing with the devil. And if it's a sin to, have sex with the woman I want, then I'm going to have, or drink or whatever it is that people want to do that's supposed to be a sin, but we really know it's just fun shit in life. If a man feels like he wants multiple women, if a woman feels like she wants to have sex with women, and that's going to send me to hell, then I'll go to hell then and I'll dance with the devil. I've heard people say that many times in my life. To me, that's how I see that video. I just watched the video this morning, and I felt like it started off with him with the snake in the tree. Okay. Now, again, what I do know, first of all, okay, so many things going in my head. What I do know is that the story of Adam and Eve predates the Bible. Okay. It comes from matriarchal pagan traditions. The term pagan means earth-based traditions. People who have been indoctrinated with patriarchal religion, they think that pagan means it's some devil-worshipping evil stuff. No. Pagan means it's earth-based, in alignment with the forces of nature, recognizing Mother Earth, recognizing Mother Nature, and, acknowledging the forces that are around us. Patriarchal religion doesn't acknowledge those things. Patriarchal religion doesn't honor the ancestors. Patriarchal religion doesn't give a fuck about Mother Earth and Mother Nature at all. It's in a direct opposition of it, okay? And so it starts with that. And, snakes are symbols of divine wisdom, of Kundalini energy. When you're dealing with matriarchal traditions, the Kundalini energy is connected to enlightenment. Snakes, okay, they're goddess symbols. Okay, they're not evil at all. It is patriarchal religion that tried to scare the masses, and have to put the fear of God in the masses. Then all of a sudden, snakes are evil. Black cats are evil. Witches are evil, okay? None of those things are true, okay? And people like to talk a lot about white supremacy, but what predates white supremacy is patriarchal religion. White supremacy is a child of patriarchal religious teaching, okay? Patriarchal religion and the damage it has caused to the planet predates white supremacy, okay? Because before the Americas was colonized, they were in Europe, the Roman Catholic Church was in Europe torturing millions of women in the name of Jesus and the God on the cross, okay? Now, in matriarchal traditions, the divine feminine is associated with the darkness, the underworld, okay? The underworld going into the womb of the mother. This is Mother Earth. You never heard anybody say it was Father Earth, did you? It's Mother Earth, okay? So light in the right-handed path is associated with men. Dark in the left-handed path is associated with the divine feminine. We need darkness for lightness. There's cycles in life, dark and light, okay? To say that, light is better than dark is, again, of course, that's a perfect, if you think that the light is better than the dark, then that goes along with the thinking of white supremacy. White is better than black. If you have dark skin, you're evil and you're bad and you deserve to be discriminated against because you have black skin. And white is better and more pure. That's that same thinking. When really enlightenment happens in the dark, okay? When you get enlightened, it's in the dark, okay? We have dark goddesses, Medusa, Sekhmet, Kali, Oya. These are the ones who are misunderstood and thought of as evil. Lilith, who wouldn't conform to, the patriarchal bullshit. They're all evil and demonized. This is a book that I highly recommend, that I think is more important than the Bible and actually tells the truth. And this book is called The Great Cosmic Mother, Rediscovering the Religion of the Earth, okay? Written by two women, okay? This book is it's over 400 pages, okay? 500 pages. I started reading this book in 2004. That's when I discovered this book. Back then, 2005, 2006, I used to give this book away to people, okay? To a lot of men. I used to give it away. Just give it away. I used to buy copies and give it away because I felt like everybody should read this book. I'm just going to read the description of the book on the back. It's called The Great Cosmic Mother. This classic exploration of the goddess through time and throughout the world draws on religious, cultural, and archaeological sources to recreate the goddess religion that is humanity's heritage. Now, with a new introduction and full-color artwork, this passionate and important text shows even more clearly that the religion of the goddess, which is tied to the cycles of women's bodies, the seasons, the phases of the moon, and the fertility of the earth, was the original religion of humanity. This book is full of archaeological evidence of things, okay? Even the fact that in art, like I said, you look at what's in stone. In ancient art, I love ancient art. I love pre-Columbian, pre-colonial art. That's where the truth is, okay? You see raw sexuality, you see orgy scenes, you know, you see the things that all the missionaries tried to destroy. Like even Easter, which is upcoming, okay? Easter has nothing to do with Jesus, okay? It has to do with the goddess Ishtar. You know, eggs are goddess symbols. They're symbols of rebirth and fertility. Bunnies have nothing to do with Jesus. What do bunnies do? They have sex all damn day and they reproduce crazy, okay? Easter is a celebration of the spring equinox, the fertility of the land, okay? Easter was a time that traditionally orgies happened. It's a pagan religion. It has nothing at all to do with Jesus and resurrection of Jesus and all that. The church, the Patriarchal Religious Church, took things from goddess traditions and tried to incorporate it into Christianity or rewrite the story. Christmas is another one. Christmas is a pagan tradition from goddess, from matriarchal traditions. It's the carol singing, the trees, the lights, the wreath, the mistletoe. All of that is pagan, comes from goddess traditions. It has nothing to do with Jesus, okay? It's a celebration of the winter solstice, all right? Halloween. Like I have the skull on my shirt from, you know, Mexico. Mexicans love skeletons and skulls. That's a celebration of the Day of the Dead, okay? The other, you know, there are other groups that celebrate it, but to my knowledge, like the ones that I knew strongly celebrate the Day of the Dead are Haitians and Mexicans. And Haitian voodoo is not just African. People a lot of times say Haitian voodoo is African. It's like 50% African and 50% Arawak. It has very much Native American elements from that island in Haitian voodoo, a lot of things, okay? And there's a lot I've learned from studying Haitian folkloric dance when it comes to that. But the Day of the Dead, to Mexicans, you know, Haitians, it's a day to honor those who've recently passed. They make meals and have feasts. The way that Haitians, not all Haitians, you know, celebrate it, because there are Haitians that are very Catholic and, you know, not into their you know, traditional spirituality. Okay, there's a lot of Haitians who aren't into that. Most of the Haitian Americans I know nothing about any of this. But the way it manifests in Haiti is a little bit different than how it manifests in Mexico. But regardless, it's something where they believe that the veil is the thinnest between the living and the dead during that time. And it's, you know, they're cooking food for the ancestors who've recently passed and who've passed long ago, to honor them, to celebrate them, you know, to make sure they're happy and they go to where they're going to go in peace, you know. So I'm not going to get into a long story about that because, again, I'm going to go back to the point of this conversation, which is about Lil Nas X. So it starts off with that, you know. I feel like that Christian stuff with, you know, Eve and the snake and the tree, which really is a symbols of wisdom, okay? And I could actually go on, like now I have so many things coming up in my mind, I feel like I could go on a 2-hour lecture about this. And I have other videos where I talk about this. I'll post them below on this YouTube thing, so you can look at my other links where I go more into depth on this. But then, you know, you see him in chains, and what I took it as is in this world where, you know, people feel like they have to conform to these Christian patriarchal religious values, okay, that if you're not heterosexual and monogamous, anything that's not heterosexual monogamy is a sin and is evil, then, okay, then I'd rather dance with the devil. I'm gonna dance with the devil, okay? But the devil is not, like, the devil actually is not evil. Also, if you look at, and I will post resources below on my YouTube video as well, so you can look at this. But this is something I've come across in my studies over the years, that Satan, Lucifer, in ancient societies was not what the Bible says. He wasn't an evil force. It was actually a symbol of enlightenment, okay? And again, the dark being enlightenment. Enlightenment comes in the dark phases of life, the dark moon, okay? When we're in the wombs of our mother, it's dark, okay? The baby comes out to the light. But the darkness is where true enlightenment happens, reconstruction happens, and rebirth. Now, I don't think it was that damn serious. Like, I don't think, he was worshiping the devil or being, on some evil shit. To me, it's not, I didn't see it that way, all right? Him being on the pole, I'm also a pole dance instructor. You see the pole behind me. Now, I got into pole dance because I thought it was very empowering to women. There's a lot of people who think that's evil. People all the time, try to insult me by calling me a stripper, or you always on the pole, you always on the pole. They think that's an insult. First of all, I'm not a stripper, but no disrespect to the strippers. I have all the respect for strippers. That's a whole nother story, okay? I'm just a mere pole dancer. I can't even feel the shoes of especially black strippers who do death-defying, amazing things, okay? And as somebody who's also a strength conditioning specialist, I have a degree in exercise and sports science. I'm a former multi-sport athlete and a trained dancer in many different styles. I know that what strippers do deserves all the praise, just like the dudes who started breaking in New York and spinning on their heads, and the dudes right now in New York who get on the train and flip off the walls and do all this stuff. They didn't have no classes. They did not have Headstand 101. Okay, they didn't have any of that. Neither do these black strippers in the strip club who do amazing things that even pole dancers can't do. And they didn't have instructors teaching them. They didn't take yoga 101, handstand 101, flexibility 101. No, okay, but they're like contortionists. They twerk in a handstand. You know how hard it is to do a handstand? You know how hard it is to twerk, let alone combine the two? And then pop down to a split? I give them all the respect. Anyhow, a lot of people see these things as being evil and sinful because of the teachings of patriarchal religion. And in the pole dance world, it's a very interesting world because it actually accepts all kinds of people, okay? So in the pole dance world, you see people of all different ages. As a student and a teacher, I've had people in my classes that were in their 70s, okay? I've had people who were, hugely overweight, had a whole lot of body fat, 200 pounds heavier than me, and can do things I can't do. There are men that pole dance, gay dudes, people that, people who are disabled, or, I don't know what the correct term is, disabled, handicapped, I don't know what physically challenged, I don't know what the correct term is, I'm not trying to offend anybody, but you see all kinds of people in pole dance classes, okay? And so, in the video, he's on the pole. A lot of men might have had a problem with that. I know a lot of men don't like watching men pole dance, but I'm just telling you that in the pole dance world, there's a lot of that. And I don't have a problem with it. I mean, I'm not necessarily entertained or impressed by watching men because I feel like I just rather look at women. And I feel like for women, it's a lot more difficult to do those moves. Any man, if you teach him the technique, he could do it easily because men have man strength. But I'm just saying, I'm not offended or think that it's a sin or some disgrace to God because a man's on the pole. He's an artist, okay? He's an artist. Just like Prince was an artist. And I'm not even a huge Prince fan. But Prince was a little weird looking man. He looked like a little elf. He wore makeup all the time. He came on stage with his ass out. But yet men love him. People love him. He's an artist. Artists have artistic license to do things, okay? So to me, looking at Lil Nas X's video, it was just a work of art. It wasn't that serious. If I had kids, I wouldn't be like, oh my God, my kids can't see that. Like, I don't feel like that. He wasn't having sex with anybody. Like, it's not that, whatever. Anyhow, there's so many worse things your kids could see. People watch violence all damn day. People watch people get shot up, mutilated. There's so many movies. I'm not a fan of like horror movies and action movies where they're blowing this up, blowing that up, shooting these people, chopping them up. People find that entertaining, but then you have a problem with somebody giving a lap dance to the devil or, something sexual. That's ridiculous to me, okay? So, I feel like religion dictates to a lot of people how they should think and what they should think. I'm so thankful I don't have that type of mental enslavement from being raised in patriarchal religion and feeling like I have to go along with these teachings, okay? And I can't think for myself. I very much believe in thinking for myself. I very much believe in researching and reading, okay? Which is something people don't do these days. Read books, not shit on the internet, okay? Because the truth is not on the internet. It's in books, all right? It's in books. Yeah, religion is a man-made tool, an enslavement tool. It is. It definitely is, okay? People are mentally enslaved by it. Now, the sneakers that Lil Nas X made, I'm not with that. I think that's weird. But I found out that Nike's not behind that. Nike had nothing to do with it. I don't understand sneakers with human blood. I think that's very weird. But at the same time, we have to remember that there were Native American cultures that practice human sacrifice. I don't want to believe that. But according to anthropology, that was true. There are things that Africans do that would disturb you, you know? So there's a lot of things that people do that's like, but I'm not, the sneakers are weird. I don't understand that, you know. 666, okay? 666 has nothing to do with the devil. 666 is a sacred number of Aphrodite and the bees, okay? The bees, I think the honeycombs have like 6 cylinders or something. So 666 is connected to bee priestesses, and I have videos that I made years ago, like 8 years ago, on my YouTube page talking about that. I have a video about bee priestesses and stuff. But 666, and you can look it up yourself, the sacred number of Aphrodite. It has nothing to do with the devil or evil stuff. But what patriarchal religion did, it tried to destroy the truth. It tried to destroy the cosmologies of indigenous people, which was embedded in matriarchal cultures. And under matriarchal societies, it wasn't that men couldn't be in charge and men couldn't do certain things. It's just that if a man was a chief or he was in a position of power, it's because a woman put that hat on his head. His mother, his wife, said, you know, you and all the powerful men, Jesus, Buddha, you know, like these mythological creatures or whatever, they were born to virgin mothers. In ancient times, virgin did not mean untouched. It didn't mean that she was a virgin, which is what Christianity wants to have you think and other patriarchal religions. That's not what it meant. Virgin meant a woman who belonged to herself. No man owned her. No man owned her body. She was a woman that had multiple men and was sexually independent. That's what virgin queens, and that's what that meant. But the Bible and patriarchal religion, to brainwash the masses, they took all of this and twisted it around. You know, destroyed as much of the truth as they could. Destroyed as many, you know, as much ancient art, ancient temples, ancient caves as they could. Tried to cover up the truth. They were embarrassed by the orgy scenes they saw etched in the walls all around the world. You find erotic art etched in the walls of caves all around the world. You find it in California and Nevada, you find it in Asia, you can find it in Africa, you find it everywhere. But the missionaries tried to stomp that out. This is something that I have been studying my entire adult life. I'm very well versed in it. And I didn't bring a stack of books over here because there are a whole bunch of books that I could show you. I'm actually going to write some of them below on my YouTube video. So if you're on Instagram and you want more resources to look into and do your own research, go to my YouTube page and look at this video and look at the resources that I post below, because I always give citations, okay? Because also, when you have certain black people who say that there's this gay agenda, I'm not with that either, because, you know, in indigenous traditions, and that includes Africa, okay, there's a man named Malidoma Somé. I forget where in Africa he's from, but he's a high-level priest. He's written books about this as well. Whether you're talking about India, whether you're talking about Asia, whether you're talking about Native Americans or Africans, there was always men with female spirits and women with male spirits. Now, and the men with female spirits were the ones that were really connected to spirit and could talk to spirit. In order for spirit to talk to men, they either had to have like a female spirit or dress as a woman. And you see these androgynous deities in India. In India, them and their deities, you don't know whether you're looking at a god or a goddess. That has always existed. Now, that's not the same thing as being trans. Like, I'm not a proponent of the whole transgender thing, where you're getting all these surgeries to mutilate your body and act like, you know, you are actually a woman when you were born a man. Like, that's not the same thing. You can be a man with a female spirit, but you're still a man, okay? You're not a woman, and you're not in the category of a woman. There's third genders. You're in the third gender category, okay? Me, myself, I have a twin brother, so I shared a womb with a boy. I'm a bisexual woman. A lot of times I feel like I have a male spirit. I feel like I have a male and a female spirit, okay? I feel like I could flip back and forth, but I know I'm a woman, okay? Period. So, you know, and being a cross-dresser is not the same as being transgender. Like, you know, you have RuPaul. RuPaul was dressing as a woman for a long time, but we all know RuPaul was a man. RuPaul never said he was a woman. He's not trying to be in the category of woman. And we see him as a man. He sometimes he's a man. Like, just as a man. Like, so it's not the same thing. So let me just be clear with that. I feel like the transgender thing is the fact that it's being put into the category with gay and lesbian and bisexual people is a problem, because really I think a lot of transgender people are just uncomfortable with being gay. Like, if you are a dude who's a fruity gay dude, just accept that you're a fruity gay dude, you know. But because they can't live up to the standards of what the world says a man is supposed to be, you know, because this world is so heterosexual, then they say, I'd rather just be a woman. I'd rather be a woman than be an awkward, you know, fruity gay boy. And there are women who are not comfortable with being lesbians, not comfortable with being dykes. So they're like, you know what, I'd rather be a man instead of dealing with this. That's how I see transgender people. So I don't see it the same as gay, lesbian, bisexual people. So let me just say that, okay? But there are books, you know, tons of books and documentation of this. And even in the Americas, you know, when we learn in history that, you know, people, you know, when this country was colonized, people went west because of gold. That's not the only reason why they went west. They also went west because of sexual persecution. And the missionaries, you know, condemning Native Americans who were gay, or, you know, you had the men with the female spirits. They condemned that in the name of Jesus and religion and their Bible. And they use it as a reason to justify torturing and murdering thousands of Native Americans. And so people started to go west, all right? There's a whole book about that that's very well documented, and I have it. I just didn't bring it here in front of me, but I will write it below on my YouTube video. So I just wanted to say that, because like after I saw the video, I'm like, what are people making such a big damn deal of? Like, I feel like it was irritating the religious people, you know? It's not that serious. I mean, like, you don't have to like the video, you know, but to act like it's like some horrible, you know, work of the devil and he's worshiping the devil and it's so horrible. It's not that serious. It was a piece of art, okay? And if you over here liking Michael Jackson and Prince and all these other men who wear makeup and stuff, like, because I mean, me personally, I'm not a fan of looking at men perform who wear makeup and they're all flimsy looking and stuff like that. Like, I mean, Lil Nas X doesn't bother me, but I'm saying like I'm not a huge Prince fan. You know, I always say Beyonce over Prince, because I'd rather watch women do stuff than watch a little, like, when I look at men, I like to see men who are men. You know, I like to see men who are like strong. I don't like little skinny little, no offense to little men, but I'm just saying, little skinny men that got eyeliner and lipstick and, you know, that's not my thing. But more power to them. But I'm just saying, that's contradictory, you know. It's like, and nowadays, everybody's offended by every goddamn thing. And most people don't read, okay? Most people, you know, have allowed whatever patriarchal religious mess that they were raised with, they take it as fact, and it's not. It's used to brainwash and dumb down people. So it's time to think for yourself, all right? So, I mean, I think I just said what I wanted to say. I just had to make this video. I don't think it's that serious, okay? And I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna post my other videos where I talk about religion, where I talk about, you know, all these different things that I mentioned in here. I have other videos where I discuss that. I will post the links below on this YouTube video, all right? So if you are on YouTube but you don't follow me on IG, be sure to follow me on IG, because I have things on IG that I don't post on YouTube. And if you are on IG and you don't follow me on YouTube, be sure to follow me there. Look through my videos, like them, subscribe, and have a good day, people. Stay healthy, and I think it's important not to be ashamed about your sexuality. As long as it's two consenting adults, okay? Two consenting adults, who gives a fuck, okay? There's nothing wrong with that. And people need to mind their damn business. If you don't like it, don't look at it, but it's not that serious. And all this sin stuff and making people feel guilty. So many people seem traumatized by their religious upbringing. Okay, and I'm just thankful that I wasn't raised with those chains. All right? So I'm going to end it. If you like this video, please share it. Have a good day. Bye.